Yo designers, what's up? Welcome back to the channel. It's Jimmy Design. I got another portfolio to show you guys. He's a viewer, allowed me to share his portfolio, so shout out to you, Eric. He's from Mexico and he asked me to critique his portfolio. This is a true, honest critique versus compared to the other ones where they're more of presentations of their portfolio to show you guys a great example, but not necessarily a full critique. So this is gonna be a full critique. So it might be a little bit more raw, might be a little bit more real, okay? So I'm gonna go ahead and show you his portfolio, throw out my thoughts on what I noticed, and then afterwards I'm going to go back and give you some advice, Eric, on what you can change to make it better. So immediately starting off, very first page of the portfolio, it's a resume. Okay, education, experience, about me, skills, soft skills, contact information. Very first project immediately looks like a photograph of a setting. A couple different products, not exactly sure what it is, but let's keep going. Ergo. Okay, so it's going to be a laptop stand, it seems like. Some Photoshop renderings, some digital renderings, some sketches. Cool dimensions, all right. And it looks like a prototype heavy kind of project. So some projects from students, which you can always expect, is these projects always come with a prompt. And so sometimes the prompt is more prototype heavy to kind of focus on your prototyping skills. This one seems immediately like that, since you are jumping immediately right into it rather than kind of like the build up, research, sketching and stuff like that. Okay. All right. So prototype heavy. Looks like the finished product, in context shots, people using it. Cool. All right. Okay, that was pretty short. Let's go ahead and jump into the second project here. Looks like something with plants, smart seed bed. Okay, it's a school project for product design for a collaboration with Juan Carlos. All right, so looks like something with plants. A body of text like this generally, potential employers aren't going to go ahead and spend their time to read it. Some will, some won't, but usually they don't have a lot of time, and they might have 20 portfolios to look through, so they're not going to spend too much time. They're going to be flipping through it pretty quickly, and so the visuals that you show are going to be very important. So it looks like some renders, some sketches. Cool. Okay, prototype heavy again. Very nice. Looks like you spend a lot of time on this cardboard mock-up. Some vacuum forming. Got the shell, that clear shell going on, and some electronics. Very nice. Okay, how it works, some 3D printing. It looks like an app that links to it. Cool. Some plants that are growing, and the prototype itself looks like it has the screen, which is telling me the electronics that you did earlier. Some logos. It's very nice little touch, like little detail right there. So these portfolio projects, I can tell already, are very short. Just a couple, like two or three pages. This one here looks like an architectural project, it seems. Not very ID, not very industrial design. Looks like a very prototype heavy 3D printing of a building of some sort. Looks like you're using some 3D program to build it, some mock-up of the city. So I already can tell you are very prototype heavy, which is good. That's a skill that's really jumping out immediately in your portfolio. And so if any employer is looking for somebody who knows how to 3D print, knows how to use their hands to create cardboard mock-ups and understand form and shape and paint and all that stuff, you are definitely the guy from what I can tell from your portfolio. It looks like you worked on this more 3D printed grayish kind of part with some plants. All right, awesome. Domi, an electronic and integrative game for children with hearing and visual impairment. Children with visual hearing. Okay, so it looks like some background information, mind mapping, electronics. So you're good with electronics. That's a cool skill to have. Okay, some prototyping, foam shaping, another project. So very short, very short projects here. Pinup board, that's nice. Some pretty decent sketches. It looks like a bicycle equipment. Looks like you did some research. Prototyping again, buckles. Now you're showing that not only you can do hard prototyping, but you can also do some soft goods as well. Pretty decent 2D render right there. And now you have your in-context shots. In-context shots are really great. To show your product, show how it works, how it would work in the real world. Another kind of section of concept sketching. Okay, so furniture, cool, 2D renders, some 2D sketches, some more 2D sketches, lots of text, lots of type right here. Cool, and thanks. Let's start off with your resume. So what I would do if I were you is I'd probably remove your photo. not a lot of people need to know what you look like. They just need to know the skills that you have, and it's taken up a lot of space. And what I would use this space up is really show some more soft skills. So this looks like soft skills. Add a bullet point to each one because immediately it jumps off like a sentence. Really good soft skills right here. Prototyping is not quite a soft skill. It looks like a combination of soft skills plus technical skills, and then you have some programs, some tools that you know how to use. About me, this has also taken up a pretty large section. Experiences. So what I would do if I were you is if you won any awards, I'd add it in there as well. Usually as a student, you don't really have too many real world experience jobs. What I would do is with all the space that you end up saving from removing your photo and removing about me, you can kind of write a little bit more about what you actually did underneath all of these different things that you did, some of your responsibilities and the team that you worked on, just some more information about what you specifically did. And reformat this, I'd make it a little bit wider. So go ahead and do like a 16:9 aspect ratio. Definitely crank up the resolution. This image here is just very low quality. The grain that's in the background is a little bit too intense, so I'd probably Photoshop that out and make it just more white. And sometimes it's also hard to tell. You have a couple different products in this shot here. You have a keyboard, you have a mouse, you have a lamp, and you do have a hand, which is good. I always encourage having the human touch in the hand. You have a laptop, and you have some graphics on the laptop. And so what I would do if I were you is maybe emphasize the stand a little bit more. Maybe you can have a white stroke around it, or you can also have the stand and then also show an image of the stand on this image of the screen, because immediately I can't really tell what product you're designing. Jumping into more of your ideation, and it seems like these are really good, pretty decent Photoshop sketches. Let's go ahead and pick like 3 of your best projects in this portfolio, 3 of your favorites. And my recommendation is maybe keep this one and more of your industrial design projects. Let's go ahead and build them out more, okay? So what I mean by build them out more is that this year is a combination of your just pencil sketches and then jumping into more of the refined kind of Photoshop sketches. Try to ideate some more, show some more sketches. I want this to be a full page of just sketches. And then the next page, I would like to see just this Photoshop alone by itself, so without sketches. So this is kind of telling the employer that, okay, you moved on through a couple different phases, okay? You're jumping into the project, you're jumping into the ideation, and then you're building it right away. And so we want to slowly start graduating on telling them what the issues are. So the issues are maybe desk space is small. Maybe ergonomics is also when a user uses their laptop on a table, it might be really difficult elevation wise, looking down on it, bending your back, bending your neck, it causes some ergonomic issues. Raising the stand up to where your laptop is more elevated and eye level to your eyes, things like that. You want to show infographics, you want to show the reasons why you did things, okay? And so you really want to show off the skills that you have, right? And so I could tell that your prototyping skills are very strong and your Photoshop renderings are very strong. So I want to see more of that. As far as page layout, the grid is a little bit too large. So the gap, what I mean is the gap in between each photo, you want to make them a lot smaller. Pull them in a little closer together, have some kind of call out. So this one here, using power tools, cutting wood, selecting the proper wood, understanding painting and lacquer and finishes, and measuring and being precise. And so you want to have these little notes that show what this image is, instead of just somebody kind of browsing through and assuming what you're trying to show them. I would retake all of these photos with a higher quality camera if you can, and I would really consider just blowing each and every one of these up in one page each, okay? Because we want to really expand this portfolio, because after this you're already just jumping away from it. And so it's very jarring. It doesn't show a lot of depth in each of the portfolios. And so what you want to do is kind of glorify these projects a lot more, okay? And you could also have some arrows that show some call out, like wood and matte finish. Tell me exactly specifically what you really want to show me, okay? It's a pretty decent intro page, I would have to say. I like the text that you selected, and combination of bold text and light text. This is very low res. It could be actually the compression that you did. This is a PDF, so you probably compressed it a little bit too much, but it's very low res. I can see all the grain, and try to make the renders not too degraded, okay? And since it is for plants, you know, go ahead and add that soil into these, and add those greens into them, and maybe have some soil spilling out of this one. It would just be a little bit more impactful. The very first shot you want to do as far as your intro shot, tell the user indirectly and also directly what this product is and what it's for. I really want to see these sketches bigger and blown up. You know, you've done a really good job sketching these out and having all of these ideation pages, and so what I want to see is your sketches just blow them up bigger, and maybe show some user scenarios, maybe show some competitors. Like I said, start building up these pages so that the user can kind of flow through the solution intro page, to the research pages, to the problem pages, to the ideation pages, and then finally showing these two pages here, and then jumping into the mock-ups, which is really great. Again, I think that this grid here can be tightened up some more, and then just shrink the whole thing down by a little bit, so that there's a lot of breathing room all around the edges. Full slide just talking about the app. Maybe you can have a couple screens of the app that you've designed. These images are great here. It looks like an image of your prototype. You know, I really want to see that. Again, blow it up. Maybe even a close-up of this one, which it looks like this, but this one looks like it to be on a circle cup. These ones here look like they're on a square cup, so this image is somehow disconnected from your prototype. It looks like you spend a lot of time with this screen and this panel here, so blow that up and really show that off as a close-up shot. Okay. And then so this one here, I'm not going to talk too much about this one because it's not really an industrial design project. If you're trying to look for an industrial design job, this isn't really an industrial design project. So for this one here, I think that the render is a little bit too overblown. Again, it's very pixelated, and I would also really consider adding some parting line into this. You know, it just make it a little bit more interesting, and it'll make it seem a lot more real. Like maybe there's a part line that runs all the way down this center two body, so that there's a top shell and a bottom shell. And then I would also really add some sort of a label. So I assume that this is a charging port of some sort down at the bottom, this hole here. You know, just add a little like Thunderbolt label or whatever, and maybe actually a connector that lives inside of it. And so this one immediately looks to me like it's a micro USB. Maybe you can update it to a Type-C to make it more modern. And then these buttons here look very plain. They're just like are immediate, like very quick extrusions. So what I would do is I would add some kind of a dome to them, or some kind of, you know, just a label that sits on top of them, or just something, some kind of concave to make the product a little bit more interesting looking, because immediately it just looks a little bit too plain. It'll just really bring this project a lot more alive and make it look a lot more real. Okay, so for this page here, add some kind of a text, you know, like solving the problem or the issue, you know, or something like that before you actually immediately jump into the text. Okay, and then this image here looks like immediately just a stock image, you know. It looks like you just pulled it off of Google or something like that, and the quality is very low quality, you know. So what you want to do is, this image is pretty decent. There's nothing wrong with pulling images off of Google or anything like that, but what you really want to do is add your product in somewhere, somehow. Okay, your mind map, this is actually pretty decent too. What I would do is I would shrink this down if I were you. You know, just make it a lot smaller, make everything a lot smaller to where you have more breathing room. Like this here, going from this elliptical shape next to the edge of your portfolio, it's a little bit too tight. Shrink down the font. This image is too small. You know, if you're really trying to show off that you're doing some prototyping and programming Arduino Nano board, okay, cool, that's very good, that's very awesome stuff. Okay, so what I want to do is see a whole page just of that, photoshopping out some of the background stuff that you don't really need, you know, like all of this dark wall here, these two products, this 3D mouse, a lot more prototyping. Again, blow this up. It's all a lot of the same thing. I know I'm saying it over and over again, but higher quality images, blow things things up. This grid needs to be a lot tighter. There's too much gap, too much space in between. There's not enough around the edges. And I would consider really emphasizing this bag up more by maybe fading out the rest of it. Maybe it should have been a rear shot where the bag is the shot, and then you could kind of see all of these other stuff foreshortened far further away. I think this image here showing off the different things that a cyclist would need could have its own page, you know. And all of this is your ideation, so that would probably come after this. Okay, so this first and then this later. Building up that research page is building up the reason why you're designing what you're designing. I would really emphasize some more of your renders. Again, you do a really great job with this, so just emphasize that a lot more. And then these images are really great. Again, blow them up, Photoshop out the background, lower the opacity of them to really emphasize the different details, have arrows indicating what these things are. You know, it's a bag, it's about this size, what materials are they made, the pocket that's on the side, a sling that goes around your shoulder, things like that. You know, I really want to see stuff like that. And then for this one here, I'd just remove this section. All right, guys, well, that is about it. If you enjoyed this video, definitely go ahead and hit that thumbs up button. Also leave a comment down below for Eric if there's anything that you think he can improve on, and also leave me a comment if there's anything you would like me to talk about. And also, if you haven't yet, go ahead and hit that subscribe button, guys, and I will catch you in the next video. Peace.